The bed of this truck needs something. That's about a job well done. Not a lot of storage in there, so I did the right thing and I just went ahead and bought some ammo cans from the online store and a cooler from Walmart, painted that army green to match. These are all the tools we're gonna need. Nutsert insert tool, tape measure, Sharpie. Went to the Ace Hardware and grabbed some fender washers, nutserts, and bolts of various sizes. Some drill bits, Harbor Freight drill. Here's the plan. The ammo cans are gonna go in the corners here, next to the wheel wells. All I did is some pilot holes, and I like to drill through the can and the bed at the same time. So this can will really only line up with these holes, but that's okay. And then I'll come back in, make these holes a little bigger for our nutserts, and we'll carry on. Important distinction here. I got these holes big enough for that nutsert to fit in there. And I'll clean them up just a hair. But those holes have to be bigger than the ammo can holes because all these have to do is fit a bolt. And I've got some fender washers, but don't try to make those big enough to fit a nutsert. It would just be unnecessary. There you go. Nutserts are in the holes. I went ahead and did a little paint before I put these in just to protect from rust. I don't care how it looks, so I just did whatever color I had laying around. Probably do the same thing to the ammo can there. And then I'm going to install fender washer with each bolt right down into the hole. Hold this thing down, should work like a charm. I'm going to throw a little bit of blue Loctite on this. Just a little bit before I bolt everything down in here. And here we go. Bolts are in, Loctited in place, the lid stays on, and when everything snaps down, it sits just below the bed rail here. And now that we got that one done, we just have 3 more to do, and then the cooler, and we'll be done. Tim, what are you doing there?
Put a nutsert, like riv nut?
Riv nut?
Some people call them a riv nut. Put a riv nut on this little slot here. Had to grind out a little bit of extra space to create all the room that I needed there. But
this is what the final product of that is, and Tim even ground these down. But the little riv nut nutsert thing sits right there, holds that side down so it's locked, and then this side is locked by an actual lock. I'll show you how to get this out. So get rid of the lock, pop that guy open, and that's what it looks like there. So all of them open from the wheel wells, and they're locked on the other sides. So I guess you could still bring a set of bolt cutters and get into these pretty easy, but you know what? They're held down by 4 nuts. Real good. That's gonna work out just fine except for this one, because this one has this little hump here. This little hump is for the filler neck. And Dale thought maybe we should just pound that flat and then somehow wish this thing full of gas later, but that's not gonna work. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the ammo can to fit around this. So we're just gonna cut kind of like that, and then a little bit there. So Tim's got a good idea here. He's gonna put the Sharpie along that little hump and just trace along the ammo can so that we get a nice clean cut. And then we still measured, it's about 4 inches in that we're gonna have to go or so. But there you are. That's gonna be roughly our first cut. Measured 3 inches in. We're gonna start 3 because I figured we could always go to 4 if we need to, but I feel like that'll be all right. Forgot to mention the death wheel, necessary on this truck, maybe not all trucks.
I'm gonna sneak up on this cut because I don't want it to. I don't want to cut too much. You see, I want to have some freedom of movement and whatnot in case I cut too much. I don't want to do that. Cut me a little chunk out here. That way I can kind of start to see where it fits before I cut the whole thing. I'm probably gonna go ahead and scooch out just a bit more. Just wanted to get it started. It's a whole lot easier to cut when it's kind of open.
Tim's got the first cut there. Pretty clean. The bottom has to come out more, obviously. But the top, man, that's pretty good.
Safety first, folks. Make sure before you're switching discs, unplug this bad boy. We don't want any accidents out here. Switching out from the cutoff wheel to the flap disc so I can clean up these edges in here. Kyle said he didn't care about the paint being on the box, but then when I said, okay, I'm just gonna paint it primer gray, he looked at me with disdain. Disdain. So I spent like 20 minutes taping this up perfectly just so that Kyle will not have to feel insecure about the colors of the box.
Now we're working on the cooler. 4 bolts on that. So that thing will also be bolted down. It's 3/3 of the way done anyways. We already showed you how these locks work, right? You lock it up and then look at this. I can hold all of my junk in there. Because, you know, that's the problem with these single cabbers. No room for junk. And sodas.
90 zooms?
No, not 90 zoom. I'm moving with the camera.
Oh, you're moving. You're full. So a camera zoom, like a
Camera zoom, like a professional zoom.
like a professional, not a
We're
90s.
not gonna Dale the zoom.
Okay.
All right, but all that's on video.
Perfect. That's what I want.